Living Power with Dan Hurst.
The fifth characteristic of a person who has the gift of administration is an ability to inspire and encourage workers by cheerfulness, approval, praise, and challenges. That's not Chris. A person who can inspire and encourage workers by cheerfulness, that's not Chris. Approval, praise, not Chris. And challenge, I gotta tell you something that happened in Honduras. We were in Honduras. Was this the last project we were working on, or next to last project we were working on? Maybe both of them, I don't know. But you mix up your own concrete when you're in Honduras, for the most part. And there was this big pile of sand, this huge pile of sand. And it just so happened that we actually hired a cement truck for one project where we needed to pour, I don't know, they call it, you guys in the construction, you call it yards of concrete, which makes no sense. I'm sorry, that's dumb. It's, it's just load. You should call it a load, or a buckets or something, but yards makes no sense. So they were pouring, I don't know how many yards of concrete for this flooring for the church that we were working on. And so they had to move this big pile of sand so that the truck could back in. I think that's how the story goes. So what do they start doing? They start shoveling the sand, and they move this pile of sand. Then we got it all poured, and the concrete was set, and so forth and so on, and everybody leaves. What did they do? They started taking the pile of sand and moving it back to where it was. And Chris went apoplectic. He went, why are they doing that? I can't believe they're doing that. It was just driving him nuts. The funny thing was, see, he can't speak any Spanish. So he's trying to communicate, and they're going, and Chris is just going nuts. Finally, he just had to walk away from it. It was awesome. It was so awesome. Then, last year, we're going down to assess for the project that we're working on right now. And it so happens I get to the airport. I'm going with Chris and Rick Stengel. I get to the airport, and my passport is not expired, but apparently there's a law in the United States, or maybe in the world for that matter, that if your passport expires within so many months, you can't go out of the country on it. I thought that's why you had expiration dates, but apparently not. So apparently my passport would expire within the 6-month window. I still had 4 months left on it, so they said you can't fly. Well, these guys had already checked in, sent all their luggage, and so now I'm left standing there going, they're not going to let me get on the plane. I can't go. And so, well, what are we going to do? Well, you guys are going to go on to Honduras without me. So Chris and Rick, neither one of them speak any Spanish. They go to Honduras. And I couldn't have selected two more different guys to travel together to go to Honduras than Patterson and Stengel. And it had to have been this total circus as these guys were there. Because Rick is just like, oh yeah, this is probably, and Chris is, we're going to die. We are going to die. No Spanish, didn't even know how to get, actually a bomb went off on a bus in front of them, and I don't know, these guys are freaked out and everything. So, and so I thought, that was so perfect, God. You just really did a really cool thing. And don't you know the whole time up there, God was going, hey, Gabriel, come here, look at this. So, here we go. Ability to inspire and encourage workers by cheerfulness, approval, praise, and challenges. The way I look at it is, if Chris has the gift of administration, I think he probably does, this is one of those times where God was teaching him a lesson. And it's something that a person who has the gift of administration can do. They can encourage, they can inspire, they have this ability to challenge people, to come together and get the work done. And it was happening in Nehemiah chapter 4. They were being challenged. The enemy had come against them, and we've seen these names before: Sanballat and Tobiah and some of the others. Now, at first it was just Sanballat and Tobiah, and then the group started growing that were opposed to what was going on. And now in verse 7 of chapter 4, you see it was not only Sanballat and Tobiah, and then it says the Arabs and the Ammonites and the men of Ashdod and all of this, and they were very angry about it. And so they started doing things. Now, when we get back into our study in Nehemiah, we'll be taking a look at this more in detail. But what was happening was they were challenging in them. They were coming against them, and they were really bothering the people who were actually doing all the work, and it was really discouraging to them. And Nehemiah was able to get them together and to refocus them. And it says in verse 13, he said, I stationed some of the people behind the lowest points of the wall and at the exposed places, posting them by families with their swords, spears, and bows. And he was able to just get them together and inspire them and encourage them and say, look, we'll put a stop to this. We can do this. We have the ability to do this. And after I looked things over, I stood up and said to the nobles, the officials, and the rest of the people, don't be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, who is great and awesome, and fight for your brothers, your sons, and your daughters, your wives, and your homes. And when our enemies heard that we were aware of their plot and that God had frustrated it, we all returned to the wall, each to his own work. So there's this ability to just get everybody together when things come against the project and to see how to solve the problem and to get everybody on the same page and encourage them and challenge them to refocus and get the job done.